Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and I'm pretty excited to have some new purchases to share with you guys. As always, we'll talk about the coins as we go through them. You can join us at oldpueblocoin.com to find products. We have stuff on eBay, but it's cheaper on our website. And of course, if you want to find out if these coins are still available for sale by the time the video hits, usually what'll happen is in the drop-down menu, when you look at the video, it'll have a description. You click on the description, it should drop down a list of coins with links to the coins. And let's start with this 1891 seeded quarter. Nice looking coin, very lustrous overall. And on this, I'll try to give you rough ballparks on stuff. You know, it's not going to be exact. I don't have everything memorized. But really nice looking coin overall. You know, what I would call full luster with some scuffiness to the fields. You're going to get an MS62 out of this coin, nice grade. I like all of those things. And this particular coin is probably going to be in that $350 to $400 range. Pretty tough to get seeded coins uncirculated, but that is a pretty nice example on that guy. For you piece dollar junkies, I've got a few fun things kicking in here. So 1927. For those of you who don't do piece dollars, the piece dollars are generally not too tough to get in the 20s, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. You start getting into 27, 28, things change a little bit. This coin in MS62 isn't too terribly tough. You get into higher grades, they jump like insanity, but this is probably a $175-ish type coin. You know, higher grades, you jump up 2 points and all of a sudden you're in the $400 or $500 range pretty quick on a 1927, which is very different from when you get some of the coins that are going to be earlier, like some of these 1922. Very nice coin. This particular coin is in an older PCGS holder with the green labels, MS64. Not too terribly expensive. Coins like these are probably going to be in that $70 to $80 range. So you can just see kind of a difference from the early 20s on forward. And then I want to show you a difference between holders. I don't have all the holders' numbers memorized. I don't know if this is a 2.3 or if this is a 3.1. You know, this is, I think, the 2.2. So what I'm looking at here is the old Rattler holders had those 4 points on it. But then they also say PCGS and had a printed label. And then we'll get into some coins later that have no PCGS label at the top. Ooh, see that? That's a teaser right there. So you can understand sometimes how people end up collecting stuff like that with the different types of holders and labels. To me, it's all very intriguing because, you know, like for example, I don't even know, you know, I'd have to review the list, but so these 3 piece dollars here actually have 3 different types of holders to them. And I don't know if they'd all be different, considered to be different as far as their style goes, even though they look almost all the same. Anyway, I digress. We'll get on to something else here. How about this 1876 Annex soapbox? It's $50 with some funky fresh toning going on there, and a lot of interesting things going on this coin. Take it or leave it. I mean, some of you are going to look at this coin and be like, yeah, I'll hard pass. Others of you will look at this coin and say, yeah, I like that coin. This is in an MS62 Annex soapbox holder. And this is also currently escaping me as far as how much it was going to be priced at. I'm not seeing it there on the sheet right away. So I do have my cheat sheet with me, but I'm just, you know, a little neurotic. What do you want? So next up, I have something that's completely different. How about an 1884 Morgan dollar uncirculated? How's that? For those of you who don't know, that's a coin that in AU 58 is like $1,700 bid, and in MS60 it's like 7,000. So this coin is one of those coins that's kind of hard to really put an exact price on. It has an extremely nice original field to it on the reverse especially. Fully uncirculated coin. The tricky part here is that the obverse has been deemed to be a little too something. They call it obverse cleaned. You know, if you can get this coin straight graded in a holder that does not say that it's cleaned, it's a huge, huge upside. Interesting coin. It's just kind of a hard one for me to look at because I just think I've seen lots of coins straight graded that look like that. You know, it doesn't really have the hairlines to it. You know, when you've got a proof-like field to it. Anyway, if you have a excuse me, if you have a proof-like field, sometimes it's a little deceptive as to whether something's been wiped or not. We'll figure out the price on this. It's an expensive coin, but just how expensive becomes the question. Speaking of old holders, this 1921 Morgan dollar, really great looking for a 21 Morgan. 21 Morgans come, you know, they're all flatly struck, and a lot of them aren't super attractive. Oh, apparently this one also has a VAM to it. And they actually have the little note on there. That's kind of cool. So MS64 on this 1921, we'll have to look and see what the VAM does for this coin, because otherwise it's probably a $75 or $80 coin. Sometimes the old holders premium, sometimes they're not. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Another OGH piece dollar. This one's got a little bit of this residual staining to it. Something to be aware of when you look at the older holders. Just, you know, make sure you take a look at the coin and make sure nothing has popped up on it since it was slabbed. Sometimes you'll see different layers and levels of stuff on a coin. This one I thought was particularly nice, this 1884 common date Morgan dollar, MS64, not a rare coin or rare date, but it had a really nice quality to it overall. That field has a touch of reflectivity to it on the obverse. I just kind of liked the look on that one. Here's one that's actually graded proof-like. So you've got a reward from PCGS with the proof-like finish to it. This 1880 from the San Francisco Mint. And this is probably a $125 type coin, something like that. Still not super rare in just proof-like. You can see that reflective field on there. That's when you get the proof-like. That PL stands for proof-like. So when you see that on there, that definitely adds some value to it. It's easy to see those it's easy to see why that one is a proof-like. All right, let's find something completely different here for you guys, for your viewing pleasure. Now, when you get to the smaller coins, sometimes you got to use your loop no matter what. 1882, seeded dime. There's a decent look at what the coin looks like right there. You got really great original luster to the coin, and you've got that sense of toning over the top. A lot of seeded dimes come this way where they'll have kind of a dark toned finish with a color palette underneath that you can only see at certain angles. Not too terribly uncommon to see on that, and this is probably that $250 range on something like that. Neat coin, MS63. You know, it just has a very nice look to it all around on that guy. Oh boy. So speaking of 1921, for those of you who are new, 1921, of course, you have both the dollars, all of the dollars made, the piece dollar and the Morgan dollar. These would make a nice pair in older green holders. Lovely, lovely coin. So this piece dollar, this design was only struck for a month. Much lower mintage, and then after that they moved on to a lower relief coin, those coins that you see from 22 and 23, where you can see the difference in the overall appearance of the coin. The fields on the 1923 are very flat. The fields on the 21 are very much so domed out. And that is what they call the high relief. So this guy here is going to be, I'm trying to, once again, find my show notes, but when you're as organized as I am, you're going to get it right every time. So I'll have to look and see what this guy is, but this is a really lovely piece. All around, I think really nice for the grade. Probably a CAC candidate. I'd probably send that in at some point in time. I'll just put it on the, I will simply put it up for sale instead of sending it in. I can't send everything in. That's just too much fun stuff. Speaking of too much fun stuff, how many of you have a 20-cent piece that looks like this? $20-cent piece has a design that looks like the peace dollar, that looks like the seated quarters and dimes, only the word liberty is raised instead of incuse on the shield. This, of course, fully lustrous coin, almost proof-like fields with that kind of deeper mark in the field here to the right. So it does get the mint state grade. It does get a low mint state grade. I love the almost cameo look this coin has at certain angles. Very cool piece, MS61. That guy is probably kicking around $1,000, something like that. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I got another seated. This one is a half dime, so even smaller than the previous dime that we looked at from 1892. This one has a lot more toning to it. It does not have the same surface quality as that previous coin did. That other coin, I think, had really superior field quality overall. This one's pretty scuffy. And MS62. I think this guy here is probably a couple $100. So if you're putting a typeset together, looking for neat coins that are like $200 and under, that might fit the bill. Speaking of bill, that was the worst transition in the history of transitions. 1928 peace dollar. This one, the intriguing thing about this particular coin is that it's graded MS60, and you don't see a lot of MS60 graded coins. You know, this is going to be in that $400 to $500 range. And it's interesting because MS60 coins usually come in a couple of different ways. One is a really fully lustrous coin, so think of this coin with a bigger heavy mark to it. The other is a coin that has a lot of just little scattered marks throughout the field. And that is, I think, mostly what you're seeing on this particular coin. There is a larger little reed mark there, but even then, that's not too distracting. So also, for those of you putting together a piece dollar set, you know that 28 is hard to get. MS60, I find MS60 to be a really interesting grade to collect in the way of certified coins, just because you just don't see them all that often. Usually it'll be an AU or a lower grade mint state. Here's a handsome fellow, $1871. A little bit of luster left kicking around on that coin. You guys can all go ahead and guess the grade if you want to, if you didn't already see it when I turned the coin over. So you've got some luster left, but you definitely have wear across all the high points. There's that liberty that is incuse on the seated coinage versus the 20-cent piece. XF45, very neat coin. I've definitely had coins like this come back AU50 in the past. I like the old green holder. This guy is probably going to be north of 700 on that guy. Pretty neat coin. All right, I got to show you these OGHs that I was talking about, these different really early really early holders. So they basically had the rattler holder, and then they had this outer ledge that they put on. The coolest ones to me are the ones that are the first generation of those, where they didn't put PCGS on the front, and they have the perforated edges on the paper. I know some of you couldn't care less, but I find this, just like collecting old books and paraphernalia with coin collecting, I find it all very intriguing. Fully lustrous Grant here at MS63. On that guy, he's got a hit right there on front of his face, which is, I think, the thing that stops it from being a higher grade coin. Grant, one of the more interesting designs, with the trees taking up most of the back of this coin. The tree canopy just takes up the whole top half of that coin. And then Grant looking nice and stodgy there. Very cool. So a coin that's probably going to be, a pretty good premium over just the normal price. Probably I think this one was the 250 to 300 range, if I remember right on which ones I had. My favorite coin in this group is actually this Gettysburg, though, mostly because it's also in the older holder, but the coin itself is absolutely stunning. Always I have enjoyed the design on this particular coin. It's one of my favorite designs for all of the early classic commemoratives. I just think that they did some stuff on here that is unique to the series. And this coin in particular, to me, it's a MS65 coin all day long. You have a couple little scuffs there on the one flag, but the rest of the coin is really stunning. Great look. 64 with the CAC, missing the PCGS on the label. Also, the things that fascinate me when I look at a lot of coins, and this is a part of it, it's just I look at a lot of coins. The things that fascinate me is that the perforation on these two coins is different. The label is perforated on the top and bottom of the Grant and on the edges of the Gettysburg. And as someone who's been around the printing industry a little bit, I find things like these just kind of fascinating. This coin I'm probably going to have priced at a high premium, maybe that $800 ballpark. Let's bring in one last really cool Civil War piece, this Antietam that we just got in with this group. MS62, older holder, CAC, all around good guy. Probably also a $500 or $600 coin. This one I was most intrigued by. I would have gold beaned, I would have gold beaned that Gettysburg. The Antietam, also kind of an intriguing coin, only a 62 on the grade, and it gets a green bean and not the gold bean. To me, a 62 coin is going to be a coin that has a lot of contact marks or a lot of kind of other little issues to it. I don't know. I just found this to be another one that feels a whole more like it should be a green bean, a gold bean. A coin that I still kind of think if I just crack this out and send it into PCGS or NGC, it would probably come back a couple points higher than it is. So probably a $500 or $600 coin. I have a few more that I'm just going to breeze through, and then I got to end on a high note. A couple more OGH peace dollars. Some of y'all are just putting sets together. I just want to pause on this because this 25 and 65, intriguing coin. We can compare a little bit and contrast the difference between the two and the different types of contact marks. The back of this coin, though, effervescent. That's the word of the day, folks. Actually one of the nicest looking reverses on a peace dollar that I've ever owned. The obverse is, I've had plenty of coins that I would prefer. This has a very clean cheek to it, but it has a couple other little hits throughout. But the reverse in that coin is lovely. One more 1921 Morgan. I should just put together a set of 21 Morgans in the different holders, including the sample slabs. That's what I should do. Maybe I'll do that. Sorry, I got 1,000 ways to collect coins, people. And let's end on a high note. Hi, Hawaii, Hawaii. So this is one of the kings, King Kamehameha, I think, but one of the kings of the commem world, of the US coin world, the Hawaii $50 that has, I think, in some ways, some of the best design elements and some of the worst design elements all in one coin. Similar, I feel similar that way on like the Monroe Doctrine, where the coin itself has that really just underwhelming flat look as far as the strike goes. There are parts of the design elements on this coin that I really, really like. The font usage is bizarre. I mean, honestly, once again, for being around the print industry a little bit, like, it's really interesting the usage of font on this coin. I do like the king side, the design elements, but once again, the way that it performs or is struck up isn't all that handsome. I like it in concept more than I like it in procedure. How does that sound? Hawaii's very expensive coins. These guys are, what are these guys, like north of 2,000, 2,500 bucks? Pretty tough coin. It's going to be in that ballpark. I know that's a broad ballpark, but you know, when you're going by memory, it's not always going to be perfect. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed looking at this stuff as much as I do. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.